What's up everyone? Today's video is going to be top 5 recovery tools for Strongman. And what I mean by tools is things that you should be doing to improve your performance in the gym. Let's get into it. The 5 things we're going to be going over is sleep, nutrition, hydration, stress and life management, and listening to your body. Now on the surface level, these things seem pretty simple. Like, yeah, I gotta sleep, I gotta eat right, I gotta drink more, I gotta not be too stressed out. And, I got to listen to my body. But I think if we dive into these a little further, we can kind of see what we need to work on. Coming in at number 1, we have sleep. Now, we all need to sleep. We all know this. But for athletes, specifically strength athletes, you need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That is a must. If you want to recover and feel good and have adequate energy the next day for the gym, you got to sleep. And if you are a heavyweight athlete, use a CPAP. If you're over 300 pounds, if your neck size is larger than average, if you're a more muscular person, use a CPAP. I don't care what you have to do. If you have to make a payment on one each month, but you got to use one. The risk of not using one is far greater. There's not a lot of downsides to using one. If you are snoring heavily and you wake up feeling fatigue after sleeping 7 to 9 hours, you likely have sleep apnea, where you're not getting enough air in the middle of the night. So you are cutting years off of your life and leaving recovery on the table. Now, something that can really help your sleep quality is getting the right temperature in your room. Studies show that 60 to 65 degrees is an optimal temperature that most of us sleep well at. If it's too hot or if it's too cold, you're not going to get good sleep. We all know we slept in a house that's too hot when we're growing up, or just in general, and you're sweating and you can't get comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. It's like waking up when you're camping in a sweaty tent. It's horrible. Another thing is limiting lights in your room. Don't have every light on in the house. We sleep better in the dark. Buy blackout curtains, shut the door, make sure that it is dark in your room. Also, getting to bed early. That's a pretty simple one, but don't be up till midnight. If you have work at 7:30 or 6, it's probably not very good that you're up that late. You're not going to get very good sleep. It takes a while to get into a proper REM sleep, so you got to get to bed early. Make it a routine. If you like to play on your phone, instead of playing with it on the couch, go play with it in the room and then shut it off, set your alarm, do whatever you got to do so you're in bed much earlier. Another thing, if you struggle going to bed, is breathing techniques. Box breathing, 5-5-7 breath, deep inhales, long exhales. These can calm you down if you're someone that struggles to calm themselves down at the end of the night and you can't shut your brain off. These things have helped me. 5-5-7 breath, like I said, box breathing. Look them up, try them. Coming in at number 2, we have nutrition. And this one is also kind of a, well, duh, Chris, like nutrition, you got to eat right. Specifically balanced macros, getting the right amount of protein, carbs, and fats. Specifically for strength athletes, you're going to have a higher carb intake as well as higher protein intake, and then moderate to lower fats or higher fats depending on what your goals are. But you can't just wing it. You can't just count calories and be like, it's going to work, because it's also going to affect how you look. If you can just eat pure carbs, but you're probably going to look a little different than someone who eats, an adequate amount of protein with carbs. And carbs are not the enemy. We need to stop demonizing carbs, specifically for strength athletes. If you're monitoring your blood sugar and keeping a proper blood sugar level, carbs are going to be your friend. Specifically around heavy training sessions, that's going to be your primary source of energy. And if you don't have enough of them, you're not going to feel good during training. And another point, you don't need 500 grams of protein a day. I hear this all the time. Yeah, bro, you got to have 2.2 grams of protein. That's not true. A gram per pound is a great place to be. That's every single study they've done. A gram, if you're an extreme athlete, maybe 1.1 to 1.2, but generally 0.75 even to 1 gram per pound of body weight is adequate for most people. Next point, supplements are not the foundation. Supplements are a supplement. They should add to your nutrition. These are the last 0.5 to 1% of your intake. Now, I use quite a bit of protein shakes because I do need to consume around 300 grams of protein per day. But like I said, these are the last little bit. It's just between meals. It's not my sole meal. Maintaining a healthy weight. Now, this is a point that I think a lot of people need to hear. you can be overweight. I think we all kind of got into strongman watching these strongman eating things and 10,000 calories a day. It's really not adequate for most people, or not necessary for most people. Likely you're going to be overweight and you're not going to be able to move well. You need to find a body weight that suits you. Something where you're statically strong, but also can move. I see this a ton where people are just simply too big. You look at the pros in the pro circuit, they're all in shape. They are not fat. So you can't be fat. And I think that's kind of come into, into the light now, where people don't just view strongman as big fat strongman. They see the guys at World's Strongest Man in these top level competitions like, wow, these guys are in shape, they're jacked, etc. Last thing, why not eat right? You're already putting all these hours in the gym. Why not take the extra 30 minutes even a day to just get your food right, get your protein intake, get your carbs right, get your fats right. Choose quality sources of food, your steak, your sweet potatoes, your rice, etc. Don't just wing it. If you're putting all this effort in the gym, you're sleeping right, you're eating right, you're doing every single thing you can to get better, why not take the extra step and just put the icing on the cake, which is nutrition? Number 3, I think this is probably the most simple out of the 5, hydration. Half of your body weight in ounces, that's what you need to be getting in a day. This is something that I personally have struggled with and have corrected, and I'm now drinking more water than ever. Yeah, and you also have to have electrolytes with the water, because you can actually dehydrate yourself by drinking too much water. And the next bulletin, it reduces injury. Part of the reason why I had that adductor injury that I talked about in the last video, the 2 videos ago, was because I was dehydrated. When you're dehydrated, your muscles are going to be dry. You're gonna cramp up. They're gonna be tight, and the risk of injury goes up. This also goes for knees and ligaments, like orthopedic type stuff. So drink your water. That's another simple thing like nutrition. Just carry a water bottle around. That's all you got to do. Something that really helped me is just having a large gallon with me wherever I go, and I know, hey, I got to have 1.5 of these. As long as I consume at least this gallon before training, I should be in the clear. Throughout the day, you're drinking protein shakes, you're drinking energy drinks. That kind of all adds into your water intake, so keep that in mind. Number 4, stress and life management. First point, get your priorities straight. It's likely that if you have a chaotic life outside of the gym, that it's not going to transfer well to your workouts. If you have relationship issues and money issues and work issues, etc., those need to be taken care of. Now, you still can train through life stresses. We're all going to have those things come up, but they should take a high priority, just like your training, because they're going to affect your training highly. If you get in arguments with your girlfriend all the time, you're stressed out about money every single day, you're stressed out about work, you're stressed out about whatever is going on in your life, you need to take care of that. And I see that a lot with people where they completely put aside everything in their life, which truly does matter, your family and taking care of them, and they just only do the gym. But I think we need to realize that the gym could be enhanced. Your performance can be enhanced greatly by taking care of those things. Another thing to help with stress is set realistic expectations. You don't have to do everything by tomorrow. You don't have to be a World's Strongest Man tomorrow. You don't have to be etc. tomorrow. Like for me, I set realistic expectations. I want to deadlift this, and it's 50 to 60 pounds off from my current personal best. Or I want to get my pro card in the next year, not I need to get to World's Strongest Man next year and stress my life out. And really, you need to sit down and really think about, is this something that is doable in the next year? People tend to overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a year. So keep that in mind. Last thing, find a hobby outside of strongman. There's so much more to life outside of strongman. It's super fun. I love strongman. I love it. But I also have a life outside of strongman. I like to play video games. I like to go shooting. I like to spend time with my family, my girlfriend. I like to play with my cats. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. My cat currently is doing something in the background. But yeah, you gotta have a hobby. You gotta take your mind off of strongman. Something that if you fail in the gym or you have a bad training session, that you can go home and just unwind, read, do whatever, meditation, hiking, swimming. I don't know what you like to do, but find something outside of the gym that makes you happy, that you can also set goals in. Like, hey, I want to talk to my dad once a week for the next month, and I'm going to set that goal and I'm going to do it. And again, you're going to reap the benefits of that in training. And it's kind of a, odd ends. You don't really see the two connecting, but they do. Number 5, listening to your body. This is pretty simple. Adjust training based on what your body is telling you. It's okay to, skip a movement that's hurting you. Like, for instance, I just deadlifted Friday, and on Sunday I had sandbag carry. I had an accessory that was bothering my low back. It was going to cause me more harm than good. Now, I'm not saying that you need to, wimp out on things and not do your accessories. What I'm just saying is it's okay to realize, but you got to really truly understand yourself. Like, is this going to hurt me, or do I need to take a step back and skip this and save it for another day? This is going to reduce the risk of injury. By doing that, it's reducing the risk of injury. By you not pushing yourself to a level 11 when you're only able to handle a 7 that day is the smart thing to do. This is how I injured my adductor. I knew I should have cut the last set off of triples, but I did it anyways, and I tweaked my adductor. And I knew it. I'm like, I don't feel great. I feel really stiff. This is not feeling great at all. I should stop. I was telling myself that, and I didn't listen to that inner voice. This sets you up for successful training sessions. By saving it for another day, that next week, just save it for next week, and that next week is probably going to go very good. And this also reduces burnout. This can kind of give you a little mental break. Just give yourself some slack. Like, hey, I'm hurting. I don't really feel like doing this. So, maybe not, I don't feel like doing this, but like this is causing a lot of pain, and I should probably skip it. And that way you're not feeling like you're having to force yourself through pain. I feel like, obviously, the sport of strongman, that's what's it about. That's why we do it. You're kind of putting yourself through this pain, and you have to force your way through that. But eventually, in your training, you are going to get to a point where things do sometimes cause more harm than good, and you need to realize that. This is going to increase performance. If you skip that deadlift session, or not the deadlift session, but if you skip that accessory or you skip that last set, this is going to set you up better rather than injuring yourself. Getting injured doesn't increase performance. Getting injured sucks, and it takes time to rehab. It takes months and sometimes a year. It takes a long time. That's all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed this. I just found this to be kind of 5 easy things that we can all work on and we can all see that are super easy to accomplish.